20 minutes or?
Oh, good. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Mary. Hey, Skip. Hi, Jude.
Hello.
Hi, is my audio working okay? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. Hi, I see people wearing baseball caps. Big Football Hair Day.
I can hear you, Jerry.
Okay. Hey, first of all, I want to open the meeting by thanking John Kiker for setting this up for us. And it's so good to see your faces, and hear your voices. So why don't we go over the protocol first for this meeting, for FOI and for other reasons. Hi, Pat.
Hello, Jerry.
I guess you can see you up here.
Yeah. Jerry, I'm loving the Lighthouse book by P.D. James. What a great writer.
Okay. I love anything that's written by P.D. James. So go ahead. You can get it anywhere. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. Anytime. We've been trading books. So,
there should be a place where you could go to full screen.
yeah.
Yeah, I can do
It
that.
should be a top right corner.
Yeah, there you go. Better.
Everybody.
All right, well, have fun.
We'll just give John a few more minutes to get everybody involved. I do know that Dan Hagan's going to be running late.
Okay.
Send me a message, okay? Because he had another meeting to attend first.
So Mark, you don't have video?
Sure.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Hi.
All right. Beards and long hair, I love it. Okay, first I want to take attendance, and I also want to take attendance if we have any of the public involved in this meeting as well. The protocol for this meeting is that it will be recorded and uploaded to the YouTube channel for Old Live, so it'll be available to the public. I will also submit regular minutes like I've been doing for all the meetings to the towns once we're done. So let's make sure we've got everybody that we need to make sure we have here. We've got John, Skip. Yep. Me, Don, Ken, Viega.
I am here.
Okay, you are there. Okay, yeah, I see you. Okay. Jeff Sturgis doesn't have this technology, so we need to just welcome Jude Reed, who is nicely taking her place with the approval of the finance board, and also will be Jeff's proxy if we have to have any votes. So thanks for coming, Jeff.
Hello, thank you.
Okay. Nice to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
Steph, you're here. Steph? She was here.
She's here. Just
Okay. Okay. Is Mr. Griswold here?
he is not.
No. Okay. And I know that Steve Mattson could not attend either. So Mary, you're here. John, you're here. Russell, you're here. And Dan will be late. So we're good. Do we have any members of the public who have also been added to this?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, hi, we're not part, my name's Mark Riley. I'm with Construction Solutions Group, and Dave Kroll is also on. We are
Okay.
considered members of the public.
Okay. Your name again, sir? I'm sorry.
Mark.
Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And last name?
Garilli, Garili.
Oh, nice. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Okay.
Hello,
Well,
everyone. And David Kroll, Crowell. I'm also with CSG Group.
ESG. Okay. And your last name again, sir?
Kroll, Crowell.
And first name again?
David.
David. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do sometimes allow comments during the meeting, but usually we save public comments until the end. But I think we can loosen up and be a little bit more interactive. Okay. So let's open the meeting by looking at the minutes. I did send them to you again. To look to see if we have approval. Hi, Steph.
Hi, how are ya?
Good, hon. How you doing?
Good, good.
Okay.
Good to see everybody's face.
Nice. I've got two screens going on, so when you come on, I get to see you like really big. It's nice. All right, so if you could take a look at the minutes, or if you already have, and see if there are any corrections or additions that need to be made, please, let's do that first and get that out of the way. And I do want to make one comment while you're looking at them, that we did say that we were going to have to take a look at what was going to happen with the coronavirus back on March 11th when we had our last meeting. So if there's anything that needs to be corrected, please let me know, or any additions that you feel are missing. I was trying to think of a way to put this on the screen, but we don't. If you have it, that's great. If you don't have it, it looks pretty good, but if I do say so. Hey, Steph. Okay, any additions, corrections?
I see none.
Sorry?
I see none.
Thank you, Skip. All right, may I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented? Somebody.
The motion, we accept them as presented.
Okay, second, please. Anybody?
Aye.
Okay, all right, Skip and Don. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any nays? Thank you. All right, moving on. We don't have any communications that this committee's received, so we can move to old business. And if there's anything under old business that we've already discussed that you'd like to bring up at this time, otherwise we will move right on to new business. Is there anything that anyone would like to review or look at again that we did in March?
That's so long ago.
I know. I know our lives have markedly changed, and I think that's going to be what we are exactly going to be talking about in terms of what the center is going to do. So if there's no other old business, let's move on to new business. And I put in just a broad phrase, planning for the future of the center renovation. Before we actually talk about that, I asked Stephanie to do a quick recap of what she's doing right now at the center and what our senior center looks like as a virtual world, but also anything that she might like to add in terms of input that she's had from other centers across the state or other organizations that she works with. So you're on, Steph.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
my earphones are kind of acting funny. So, so we have been definitely in a new world. We've been trying to meet all the seniors' needs, and it's finding to be much more difficult for people that are not connected than are connected. We currently are offering anywhere from 20 to 23 programs a week virtually. And we usually have about anywhere between 170 and 200 people participating. So, so it's great, but when you think we have 1,500 people, you know, but we are able to reach out weekly. I reach out weekly with emails, both a virtual schedule for the upcoming week and also with links that might help seniors. So 2 different emails, and I reach about 750 seniors with that. We have been calling since the beginning. When we first were going into this, I tried to isolate all the people that were either A, living by themselves, or B, they might be married or whatever, but they were over 75. To check on them, and I have a bunch of volunteers that have stepped up and we called probably about 500 seniors the first round, and currently we're calling back about 200 that wanted the repeat calls. So, so we are reaching out to them via the phone. I am in contact not only with the other senior centers in Connecticut. Currently, they're trying to come up with, actually, they were meeting with the state today, but I haven't heard how that went. Our CASP, which is our organization for the state as far as senior center directors, they came up with ideas on reopening. Obviously, none of us foresee that in the near future, but what the different phases look like to protect everybody. So right now, it looks like no senior center in Connecticut is looking to open up before September. Now, I say that kind of loosely because there is there are senior centers doing transportation. Those that have social services are providing what they need to. But as far as any kind of programming, obviously Meals on Wheels is still going on at the senior center, as well as our congregate meals. So normally 5 days a week, seniors would come and have meals at the center. Because that's not available, the estuary now provides on Tuesdays, they go and they pick up the meals. We have about 19 or 20 members that are doing that. And then we have about 30 members on Meals on Wheels right now. So we're still running Meals on Wheels at this point, and grab and go meals is what they call this other congregate, where they come and pick it up. They come to the curb, they put it in their trunk, and they go off on their way. So they get 5 meals a week on Tuesdays. And if they have, obviously, if it's a husband and wife, they would get 10. Hi, some people are just joining us. So pretty much that's where we're at right now. I am working with senior resources. There's a lot of money that's coming down for seniors for technology. So they're going into the area agencies. And so we're looking at starting a pilot program. We're still working out the kinks. So I don't expect that maybe this wave we're going to be able to get it all together, but hopefully by the fall, where we're going to have 5 tablets that we can lend out to seniors so that they will be able to connect with for medical appointments, via the internet, for family members, or also to participate in some of the virtual programs that we currently have. So
Okay.
That's pretty much what's going on right now,
Right.
in a nutshell.
And I'd like to ask who has just joined us. It's Mr. Griswold, and who else? Anybody else?
So, there is somebody else, but he's connecting to audio right now, so you might have to wait a second.
Okay.
It's Russell Learned.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
Russell.
Thank you, John.
Stephanie, I just wanted to say your last newsletter was outstanding. It was very reassuring, and it had a ton of information. So that was a good job.
Oh, thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's one way we're able to reach the seniors that are home is through the newsletter, that don't have internet. So I tried to fill it with a lot of stuff that they could use. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Good.
I mean, just had somebody join by phone. I don't see a name, just a phone number.
Yeah, I don't recognize the number. Can you identify yourself?
It was me. Sorry. You hear me?
It's you.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
My mic doesn't connect on my computer with Zoom for some reason, so I have to call in.
Well,
And I had to wait.
there have been reports that Zoom has crashed in the last week in the middle of meetings. So we're going to be efficient, but we're also going to keep our fingers crossed. Okay. Mr. Griswold, welcome.
How do you do?
Okay. All right. So Steph has given us a picture of what the center is now, basically. And she and I have had ongoing discussions regularly every week about what we feel things could look like in the future. But given that we have no idea really what the future is yet, we're taking our pacing very slowly and looking at things maybe not even in baby steps yet. But since we are 2 towns that probably per capita have more of the most vulnerable population in the country in terms of an age group, we're going to be really careful. And I'm speaking as chair of the board as well as a person who's interested in what we're going to do in the future to expand or renovate the center. So if anybody else has a comment to feed back to Steph, I'd like to move on to the second prong of this discussion, which is, what do you think we should be doing now as a committee? Does anybody want to say anything else to Stephanie or ask her any questions? Good. Okay. Did a good job, Steph. Thank you. As of July 1st, we do have the allocation that we were given by the boards to use for a study of some sort, whether we call it a feasibility study or a community study, whatever we're going to end up doing. My understanding, after having some discussions with Tim, is that the finance board in Old Lyme still may want some additional information and some ongoing information about monies that we intend to spend and how we intend to spend them. So I need to know from you, and I need the people who are on the ground who are actually involved in work like this, like Russell and anybody in the building trades especially, what you've seen, what you know, how you feel the way projects are actually being rolled out, and especially in terms of requesting an RFQ, an RFP, or any other process starting. So can somebody lead into that for me? Russell, maybe?
Yeah, well, I can say a few things. I mean, I think, and John and Tim and everyone will probably, I mean, everyone's thinking short term right now. What's the summer look like, or in terms of school, what's the fall look like? So there's sort of a lot of conversations I have. We refer to it as pre-vaccine and post-vaccine. Assuming the vaccine comes, and that's sort of the game changer. But I do think that there's going to be, in the world of architecture and design and construction, there are going to be things that are going to be long-term solutions that we're going to need to figure out. And especially with a place like the senior center, theirs are going to be really critical. So until some of that stuff's been fleshed out, because as we know, every day we get different information of what's the right or way or the wrong way to do something. It may be good to, gather that information, because it's really going to be critical in this study to put all of that in. And it may not have a major effect at the end of what we do, but it's certainly going to be a player. And we're still, I spent the day at the Williams School, because that's my alma mater, and I walked the building with them trying to figure out what they're going to need to do just to get ready by the fall. And the governor wants every school to have a written procedure by beginning of June in terms of how they're going to open schools. So that, and there's still information coming in on a hourly basis. So I think there is a lot going on, and we're just our heads are all spinning.
Exactly. I mean,
Stephanie
and I have
Ken, do you have anything
ongoing discussions. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Russell, thanks. And yeah, this is Ken Biega for people who I don't know, I guess someone else is changing the screen now. What we're seeing is definitely, a lot of projects are still moving. So I don't think, Jerry, we should, come to, a halt or something. Yes, and I agree. We need to identify what's going to happen, how, this is going to change, whether it's education, whether it's a senior center, whether it's, how we're doing business, and handling and dealing with people all together. So one part of me is, I think we should just continue with the development of our RFQ, RFP for a study, and then have it, not issue it. And because we almost have to wait to see how this shakes out, Jerry, and, to the other committee members, and see what we need to add to see how this is going to play into it a little bit. And, I think we, just proceed along, get some input from the committee members on what's important to them, what we need to do. And then if we have some clear information about, how we need to deal with this virus or any virus that may come in the future.
Yeah, you've really encapsulated, I think, exactly what we're dealing with. Jude, you look like you wanted to say something. Do you want to say something?
I think, first of all, I like what Stephanie had said about reaching out and improving technology use for the seniors, which is a spin that I hadn't thought of when I sat in on any of these meetings. So obviously that's going to change, I would think, some of the information regarding planning for the expansion or renovation. I had a question. You say the 15,000 was approved by the board. Are you talking about the senior board's 15,000 or the board of finance?
I'm talking about the finance boards.
Okay.
We also have the other 15,000 that are the senior.
So that was my question.
Board has committed an additional 15,000. Yes.
So it's a total of 30 between the two.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great.
I'd like to come back to what Ken and Russell both were saying, and Ken, it's exactly it. We still want to move forward. And the discussions that I've been having with a couple of people on the committee and with Steph and other people are that maybe for the summer we can start actually formulating our request, our RFQ or RFP, and then maybe by September kick it out and to see what taking those steps. Do you think that's a viable timeline that we could work with by then, but that maybe we would have and other people would have enough information that we could actually put it out there in September?
Yeah, it doesn't, Jerry and the committee and Russell, it doesn't cost us anything to put it together, to get it out there. Yes, it may be some advertisement, and if, we always have the right to, pull it back, cancel it or whatever, if we feel something's changing, or if, add additional information out to them, letting, the architects, know what we're thinking and what we're changing. You talk about technology, is it, where you set up like a green room where you have more, of these presentations to seniors, that this becomes more of how we may need to communicate at different times. So, those are all issues that we'd have to, see how this shakes out. But I think if we set that goal up, we can always pull back and wait, but hopefully we'll have enough information by then.
Yeah, I'm asking if it's too soon. I would like to take baby steps, but also keep the momentum if we need to have momentum.
I mean, we may get to September and say we need another month.
Right.
Or two. So I think September is a good sort of marker to sort of figure out, do we have enough information to proceed, or do we need to wait another month and gather more data?
One of the things we haven't...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
One of the things we haven't done, and in the last meeting we were going to do it, is that Dave and our building manager for the town to go walk through the building. I think that's an important part of this whole thing. We can't put that together, anything together, until we've had at least that time to do that. And who knows when the time is going to be able to do that.
Right. You read my mind, Skip, because, and Mr. Griswold, you and I have had this discussion a couple of times about asking Phil and possibly the building, whoever does the building inspections, or whoever the building person is.
Mark Whalen.
Mark, and with Skip as a member of our committee to actually do a modified facilities audit. Russell gave us really good templates to use for that. But again, I haven't really wanted to even push that or think about it, because that means, I don't want to put anybody at risk to go into a building that they don't feel comfortable going into, or working with too closely with people that they're not comfortable working with right now. But
I think we're going to see in the next 30 days a major change. And I think at that point, things like what we're talking about with Dave and the building official and so forth to go through the building will be less fearful of doing that. You know, the way things seem to be changing, but that's only way we're going to know is 30 days from now. Did the things change the way I think they will?
Okay, so maybe we're saying by the end of June, beginning of July. Mr. Griswold, can you comment on that at all?
Yeah, certainly right now, if the building's not being used, there would be less likely that there'd be any problem with the building and with face masks and all the precautions. I really don't think that should be a major issue.
Would you mind if I got you the information so that you can give it to Mark and to Phil and let them contact Skip in the next 30 days or 45 days or whatever, so that they could probably coordinate that effort?
Yeah, they can review the mechanicals and just the layout and so forth. I think that generator has been pretty much installed, and then the new boiler is due to go in, so things are happening. Getting back to I just wanted to cover one thing about the money. If we have the 15 from the seniors and 15 from old Lyme, is it expected that Lyme will participate with the old Lyme 15 and it'll be an 80-20 on that, or would there be additional funds from Lyme that would be on top of the?
I think well, Dan should be here shortly for the finance board. He's in another meeting.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Dan, but yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I think it's the split. It's the normal split, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Our budget has 15. So then if ultimately the split is the way it is, then we still would write the check and then we get, I guess, reimbursement from Lyme.
Well, that coordination needs to take place between the two boards of finance. And in accordance with our constitution and bylaws that dictate how you guys split, how they split
Okay.
So yeah.
One other thing I was wanting to mention is that I've urged previously that I think probably some of the seniors in that membership base might huddle together and represent a group of seniors who could give us input in what they would like to see, because if we just go directly to a consultant and say, tell us what we need, I would hope that we have people who use the building on an ongoing basis that would have some very good ideas, so that by the time we get the RFP out and hear from people, a lot of this basic work can be done by these focus groups, that we could maybe do this on our own, and then that would alleviate the need for the consultant to do that and save some money. And I would imagine there are some good seniors that would have some clear ideas about what some of the goals would be.
Yeah, I agree with you, and we can look into that. All right. So
I just want to add, I agree that there is a bunch of upfront work you can do, and I think getting some seniors, a good group of seniors to sort of spearhead that, especially with programming. I know that was one of the things, but there is a huge advantage to the consultant hearing those things and being part of those conversations. So you don't want to get too far ahead, because then when the consultant comes in, you got to kind of repeat a lot of that process. So there's a fine line about going down the path of community meetings and such, and then bringing the consultant in after, and then missing some of that conversation. But I agree, you can certainly get a leg up in that.
Well, one of the things that I could offer, we have a really good group, and it's called our board. Our board is very active in the center on a daily basis, and it's 12 people, one of whom is also in this room with us tonight. It's Don, okay? He's our treasurer. But we have a really good board, a really active board, and it would be a group that we could I'm going to meet with them in August to actually catch up with them because we didn't get to have our March meeting. We had to cancel it. So that could be something I could put on our agenda, is to think about doing some kind of initial feedback group of some sort, just to get some basics down, especially on programming, okay? Would that be acceptable for this committee if I approached our board to do that?
I think it would be a good idea. My only concern that I see is, why would we wait till August? Maybe a phone call to each of them, at least to get their mind put in gear about what it's going to be and whether they want to participate or don't, and start getting their own thoughts together.
Yeah, well, actually, I talked to everybody on the board today, and I told them that the August meeting was going to be, what are we going to do for the center? What is it going to look like? What do we think? Those are the discussions that we're actually going to have in August. I wanted to give our board a chance to get through the next 30 days or more, because there's so much unknown about what everybody has to deal with. And
agreed. I'm just thinking that if they can start thinking about it till whenever the meeting is, we're just one step ahead.
Yeah, no, you know what, I'll send them out another blanket email and tell them to start thinking like that. But some of my board members don't have technology to do a Zoom meeting, so I'll be doing a WebEx meeting with them, and I'll be working with the Overline Town Hall to set that up. So,
quick question. Can I add something real quick? Or I just wanted to say, I everything you guys said, I agree with all of it. I also envision that when we have the consultant working with us, we will not just hit our members that we have now, but we'll also hit townspeople, so that there might be younger seniors that aren't represented, which I think is an important segment because they are going to be up and coming. So I just wanted to double check that Russell, when you were talking about that, that's part of like what you were thinking, that could, as having your experience, that's usually what they do.
Yeah, you want to gather a larger stakeholder group than just the seniors. So it's absolutely, and that will be the critical mass. Not only up and coming seniors, but younger generations, and then other things that might you might play into it. I think the one piece that you might want to do, and maybe as a group we could come up with 5 or 6 questions. I can put some. Ken, you probably have some from the library times that you could just put in front of the board and have each one of them kind of respond to, and then maybe collaborate them to quote unquote consensus answers to them.
Sure.
And then make that part of the RFP.
Okay.
So when you send that to the consultants, you can say, here are 5, here's a 2-pager on things that our board is most concerned about. And you can also, which probably wouldn't have happened before, but you could provide the facilities audit, because that might be done. And then you're providing the more information you can provide to the RFP, the better you're going to get, better proposals you're going to get.
Okay.
So all of this stuff can happen this summer. It'll all be appendix to the RFP, and it'll make that more useful.
Good. So if you and Ken want to develop 5 to 10 essential questions for me, send it to me. I'll do the survey of our board. And
all right.
Stephanie and I can work on the possibility of expanding that after we have the board's response. Does that sound reasonable to you?
It does to me.
I mean, I've already, before all this hit, I actually was talking to the VFW because they're a stakeholder at the center, and other organizations that have meetings and are there, to let them know that we are going to be doing this down the road. So I think we can maybe make that the next step and get more people involved. But I think our board is a really good group to start with. Steph, do you agree with that?
I do. I do agree with that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what I'm hearing, let me recap. I'm hearing that we're going to know that we have money. know that we can take some baby steps to start, and we will start with doing hopefully a modified facilities audit. I have the forms, Tim, that Russell sent me, and I'll get them to the town hall. And then I will develop a survey with your help with the questions of our board and get that started. So does that sound reasonable to everybody? Okay. So is there anything else that you think we should do sooner rather than later, or is that a good chunk to start with?
Hey, Jerry, I got a question. Are any of the senior centers open, or are they all closed?
Steph?
Oh, sorry, I had to unmute myself. Right now, it depends what you define as open. None of them are open to the public. What's happening is almost every center is doing meals. So they're doing Meals on Wheels and the grab and go meals. And if there's any social services in the building, they're reaching out as well. But there's none of the centers are letting people in their buildings at this point.
They're doing transportation if they have to,
And
right?
yeah. And if they have transportation, they are doing transportation on a limited basis, so that people can get what they need. And not all of them are doing the transportation that have it, but probably a good half of them are, so.
Well,
The reason I ask is it would be nice if the committee could visit some of these senior centers to get some ideas.
Oh, they wouldn't be
No,
open
not
for
yet.
that right now.
Yeah.
Without even asking, I could guarantee that they're not letting anybody in their building. They're trying to keep them as safe as possible.
Right.
They're working split shifts and some are working at home.
But
And,
we talked about that before as something we want to do down the road.
Definitely.
Okay? And that's
Definitely.
definitely, we'll do field trips when it's safe to do field trips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not until it's safe. And I want to give Stephanie another shout out. The 20 to 23 programs that she's running per week on a virtual basis compared to like other centers. She gave me one example, Waterford. Okay, Waterford, and I taught in Waterford for 25 years and had more IT available to me than probably any other school district. They only have one program?
They started one in May. Yeah, they started one in May. So we are working.
We are working as a virtual center, probably better than a lot of other places. And that's great because we have a very large population to serve.
I know this is unrelated, but I'm going to share it. Tomorrow I have a meeting with all the senior centers in Connecticut. I shouldn't say all, but all that participate. So there's maybe about 60 of us. And we are going to be doing it on programming. So one of the suggestions I'm going to make, because a lot of them don't have the resources, is that if everybody comes up with one program that they can offer through the state, through all of the senior centers, then we could have 40 or 50 different programs going on every single week, and it wouldn't be a high cost for anybody. So, I'm definitely going to be putting that out there. So we might even find more programming soon,
But that to me is the additional definition of our senior center for now and for the future until the world is safe. I mean, if we can open physically at some point, that's going to be great. But until then, the virtual world is our world. But also when we reopen, the virtual world will still be our world, because there are going to be people who, even if we feel it's safe to come into the building, it's going to be on a limited capacity probably. It's going to be limited programming. There's going to be social distancing that needs to be determined. And people are just not going to want to walk into the building. So the idea of hooking people up with more technology who don't have it, I think is a really good way to look at our future as well.
We're working on that. And the other thing too is, this goes to do with the building print that we have right now. I mean, there's no way we can accommodate all the people for exercise programs inside our building. There's no way you can get 6 to 10 feet between everybody. So, We may have to, when we do open and we do have some sort of programming, we may have to limit it and the rest might have to participate virtually, you know? Or when it's nice out and it's not too hot out, we might have to do them outside. I mean, it did come into my thoughts that when we open, when it's safe for people to go out, which it's not right now for seniors, you know, we can use the parking spaces and as their spacing, you know what I mean? For exercise purposes. So you'd have one person in a parking space and then a blank parking space and then another person in the next parking. So it would, you know, we can use that, but that will still be limited, you know? So just some ideas we're thinking about to make do with what we have right now, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, to give you some idea, most spaces are 7 to 15 square feet per person. That's how we design classrooms and such. And when you say 6 feet, you're talking 36 square feet around somebody standing in a 36 square foot area. So that you know, that more than half the building's usage, and that depends on how you're using it and how susceptible. So it's a game changer in a lot of facilities. So.
Well, I would welcome any other comments from the committee at this time, and say if there's anything else that you thought of. Yes, Skip.
I would first of all like to say it's nice to see everyone.
Yeah.
You too, Skip.
Most importantly, we are very blessed to have Stephanie doing all of this. She is, you know, really one special person that always goes above and beyond, and it's quite evident with what she just spoke about, trying to put things together, that we are very blessed in these two towns to have this lady as our director.
Thank you so much, Skip. That's really sweet. Appreciate that.
I mean it. I mean that
I
truly.
know you do. I do. I know.
High five, Steph. Any other comments from anyone on the committee before I open public comment? Okay, our visitors, David and Mark, do you have anything you'd like to add? Or
I know, I'd just like to say thank you for allowing us to participate openly. And, you know, I think that you're all on the right track. Like I said, we're with Construction Solutions Group. We're an owner's rep company. We work with lots of municipalities, both on K through 12 projects and healthcare and senior living and senior centers. So we've got a lot of experience in helping boards like yourself, committees like yourself, to guide you through the process. One suggestion, I think, after hearing what you're planning to do might be to put together a milestone schedule, something that you can kind of push out as your timeline changes or not. I apologize, I haven't done my homework on Lyme and Old Lyme, but if you're a referendum town, is this going to be a referendum project? You know, set some milestones to work yourself back from, identify financing if you're looking for grants to go through, all of those kinds of things as you're moving. But I think you're all moving in the right direction. Congratulations on the great work that you're doing. Stephanie, I don't know you, but again, would like to reiterate all of the wonderful things you're doing. We do a lot of work with senior living communities and healthcare communities, and seeing how they are approaching their reopening and allowing visitation for families and things like that. So
thanks.
Yeah, so keep up the great work. Thank you so much again.
thank you for that. Dave, are you still with us? Mr. Crowell?
Dave and I are sorted together. So.
Oh, you're sorted together. Yeah.
I just needed to unmute. Yes, I would like to echo what Mark just said. Both Mark and I have been involved in senior living, healthcare specifically, and I do want to extend my appreciation. I think that it is, you know, having worked on committees for things in my own hometowns, I've lived in Connecticut all my life, so I appreciate what you're doing, and I think what you're doing is getting you there. So
Where are you guys from? Where are you now? I mean,
So our office is located in East Hartford. We work with municipalities throughout the state and into Rhode Island.
Okay.
So I currently am in Simsbury.
I'm sitting in Windsor, but I've worked in the London area, Chester area, a lot of different locations across the state. So I can appreciate what each town has to go through when they're going through this process.
Okay. Well, thank you for your comments. Okay. We really appreciate that you came to this meeting.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, back to the committee if there is anything else that we need to discuss. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, second, please.
I
Mary,
second.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You kind of got to keep this going. Do we need to bring out a bottle of wine or something to keep this going? Otherwise, thank you all for doing this. I so appreciate it, and we will be in touch again soon, okay?
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, John.
Night,
Take care.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Stay safe.
You too.